Nexon's Warhaven follows in the footsteps of games like For Honor before it, in trying to carve a space out for the third-person melee action gamer amidst a sea of first-person large-scale multiplayer warfare offerings. Based on the current open beta playtests running until early November, there's still a lot of work to be done to make the case. I've had some fun in short bursts, but as a solo player, every clutch capture or dominant killing spree was bookended by frustrating moments of chaos, where there was no great way to steer your team to objectives or to avoid getting overwhelmed by enemies. No great way to hold your own one-on-one. Dropping into any of the 4 currently available maps first requires you to pick a class. There are 6 to choose from, all with their own strengths, weaknesses, and quirks. The sword-wielding Blade and the spear-brandishing Spike are the melee-focused choices, with the former being great for keeping foes on their toes and occasionally in the air, while the latter can pierce defenses with its charged-up attack and parry incoming swings to create openings for big damage. Guardian and Warhammer are the meaty ones. Guardian's shield can bash multiple foes backwards and be used as a battering ram to make a hole through the front line. Warhammer swings his two-handed bludgeon for the fences to destroy groups of foes, but can also put up defenses to clog paths. Arch is the ranger who can snipe people from great distances or can use delayed explosive aerials to great tactical use. Smoke is a trickster who can catch projectiles and launch them back at enemies and, crucially, can heal her allies at will. As you rack up kills and assists, or capture and defend objectives, you'll build a meter in the bottom corner. When full, you can spend it to temporarily transform yourself into one of 4 powerful immortals, each with different roles, but all posing game-changing potential. The most popular was Martyr, a knight in shining armor who has a powerful sword attack and a shield bash.
Double kill.
Dark Gale is a mounted warrior great for breaking through clumps of enemies. Hoet uses barriers to shield himself and allies from harm, and Raven can launch powerful projectiles from a distance. Any one of these characters can dominate a skirmish. But maybe one of the biggest balance issues I've seen so far is when multiple players transform at the same time, creating a death ball of super powerful murder knights that make counterplay impossible. There are 4 maps in this playtest that show off 3 different game modes. Onslaught feels like the signature mode here, as there are 2 different maps dedicated to it, the narrower Moshbarg and the large expansive Gelen. Its tactical back and forth always felt important, even if trying to wrangle your team to prioritize objectives often felt like a battle in and of itself. Skirmish has fewer points than Onslaught that both teams fight over, the center one being the only one that scores. The other 2 give you access to a second respawn point and a cannon that faces the center. This was an extremely hectic stage. Control points flipped constantly, meaning you're always in motion to attack and defend the next one. It was also the mode I ran into one of my bigger obstacles with doing well, other groups of players. As a solo act trying to ping and chat my team into helping me out, I was having a hard time. On the other hand, Skirmish felt like the mode with the most emphasis on the objectives, as each one had a dramatic impact on the momentum of the fight. The last mode, Arms Race, is a take on escorting a moving objective to a destination. Except in Warhaven, there's 3 objectives that first need to be built by capturing their respective control points. This felt like the mode that required the most communication and felt the most chaotic as a single guy jumping into a team. And generally, 16 people trying to move 3 payloads while also trying to stop 16 other people from trying to move 3 payloads might just be too much to keep track of for any game. Warhaven's big-time battles feel properly large and incredibly chaotic, and in my time with this playtest, it delivered quite the mix of emotions. The objective-focused gameplay across several different locations and game types add a tactical layer to the melee skirmishes that does what it can to keep the game flow feeling intrinsic and legible, even if the tools to keep your team's eye on the prize are limited. Combat itself is filled with diverse offensive and defensive options both on your heroes or found in the environment, but the most effective way to kill the enemy is to crowd them in a corner and spam a storm of attacks that they could never be able to block. In short bursts, Warhaven is a great high-energy experience, though I think a keener focus and lots of balance is needed for it to survive the long post-launch campaign when it arrives next year. For more previews of upcoming games, do not miss our final preview of Sonic Frontiers, or our last look at Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And for everything else in the world of video games, Stick with IGN.
Victory will be ours.
You have vanquished a powerful foe. Double kill.